So I'm just waiting for the forge to get back up to temperature. What I'm going to do today now is just show you how to, this is a piece of spring steel. It's an old spring off a car that I've straightened out and I've annealed it. By anneal it, what I mean is you put it, bring it to a critical temperature, non-magnetic, and you let it normalise and cool next to the forge properly. Do that about 3 times so you take all the stress out of it, and you can forge with it. And you can heat treat it, and I'll show you how to make a little stick tang pocket knife out of this. So it's just gone up to temperature now. The first thing I want to do is establish a stick. So it's going to mark up as much as we need. Just go around the anvil. Half blows back, meaning half on the anvil, half on the workpiece. And then just lay that out. We're just basically forging this down so we can extend the stick tank of it. Straighten it on the angles. To start, put it back in the fire. It's back up to temperature now. And just continue working it, flattening that out, twisting it until you get the desired length that you want with a stick, which in this case is about 2.5 inch. In the fire. As you probably noticed, I switch hammers a lot, and I like to use various different hammers for different things. I've got that many, I just like using them all. This is just an old lump hammer I used to have on the railway when I was a welder. That I've made into a forge hammer. And now what we've got is we've got the stick formed, so we just need to take these angles off. You've got to be careful with spring steel that you don't forge it too cold and you don't forge it too hot. If it's too hot, it'll just disintegrate with the hammer. If it's too cold, it'll snap. So we've got the stick sorted. I'm going to turn it around, push it in, I'm going to heat it up so far down and just cut off the amount using the hot cut harding, the amount I need for the knife. We'll come out now, we'll put it in that cut, I'm guessing how much I want, right about there, flat side, twist, bang, twist, 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 when you get through, hit it on the side, so you're not coming down on top, you're coming down next to it. That, make something else out of that later. On this next heat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to forge the rough shape of the blade. Literally take a lot of steel down and flatten it out. I'm going for a traditional Scandi grind on it, Scandi kind of shape, so we shall see how that pans out. There we go. This will pop. Just forge it down. Don't worry at this stage. We're going to cut this off, just get it flat. Back in the fire. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the end off. And I'm going to go against what you would think. You'd think I cut it that way. I'm not going to cut it that way. I'm going to cut it that way. And I'll show you why. You'd think I'd have cut it that way, but watch. We shall see in a second. What we're going to do now is a 1.5 pound cross peen, which is a small cross peen hammer. I'm just going to tie this front up. And get hold of it properly. In the fire. and then we'll forge the front of the blade. It's about to come out of the fire now. Just to forge the front of the blade. These are the wrong tongs. I've not got nothing small enough to put. I need to make a set. I'll do that in the next video. I have to make a set of tongs. Now we're going to push this front down. And you can see the shape of it starting to be formed. That's why we cut it the opposite way. It allows you to form that front. You can twist it. Start to level the bottom of the blade up. Put a bit of meat back into it. Once we took out when we hit it, quite flat. Straighten that tangle factory so it's a bit bent. Back in the fire. And try and get some good heat now near the bottom. Now be careful about quenching and cooling this kind of steel in water, because if you quench it you'll harden it. You hit it and you'll snap it. You have to be really careful, it's a difficult steel to forge. Let that get up to temperature. Just going to quickly try and forge the bottom collar of it. Keep it flat on top. Just across the soft face of the anvil. They call it a soft face, it's got a round. It's a sharp face, hard face, soft face, that's all it is. So you can basically get your rounds in there. I'm going to twist it now, put it back in the fire the other way. And I'm going to sort that dodgy looking tang out. There we go. Just going to straighten all this up. You don't have to go mental with the hammer, that's why I use different weights. Obviously the bigger hammer's for shifting a lot of steel. This one's more for plenishing and detailing. Get some more meat back in the spine of the knife. What we took out when we first forged the basic shape. As you can see, it's coming together quite nicely. Back in the fire. Put it. On this heat, we're going to be putting it spine side down because we don't want to get too much heat into the blade. Because I want to fatten up that blade by pushing down on the cold side of the blade. So the blade, cutting edge, pushing down on the colder side, fatten the spine out. If you know what I mean. So it's just slightly colder on top, flat part of the anvil. And we're just going to push that spine down ever so gently, and also plenish that cutting edge so it's nice and level, and that will allow us after that to start to form the cutting edge. Nice and flat on the back now, as you can see. So turn that around, level it up. Back in the fire. On this heat, I'm going to use the round side of a 1.5 pound rounding hammer just to start developing that blade. All the way up, try not to hit the spine. Just keep it where the blade is. It'll deform and it'll look like a nest muck or something, but don't worry about that. We'll sort that in a second. Turn it over and just fan it outside. Back in the fire. So I took another heat, rounding hammer again just to pull that blade down. Now we'll take a heat on the back end there, and I'll straighten that tang up. So I've just gone for a heat just on the end, as you can see. And then start to push that back. You've got to do it side and top, or you won't get it. Back in the fire. Because it is like a Swedish style fishing knife, Scandinavian, we do want it to be curved for skinning, gutting, whatever you want to call it, scaling. But we don't want that tang to sit up. We don't want it to sit up like it is. So we're going to push that back down. So you bend it up first, and then you push it down. Otherwise you won't get it. Bend it up, push it down. Takes a couple of heats, you just got to keep working on it. On this heat I'm going to straighten it properly. You're going to do it in stages, that's what it's all about. We're going to go down there, and then pushing back. I've got that back in the fire now, and I'll straighten that in the vise. So that's the basic forging done. Now I'm going to show you how to rough grind it. So basically what I'm going to do now, you won't be able to hear much because the grinder will be going, but I'm going to rough out the shape of this on the just a little work grinder. It's not the main grinder I use for my knives, just the Tuber 72 in the garage, but this is just to keep it outside when I'm working outside, just to rough stuff up. But you'll see what I do. Put a fine point on that. What I'm looking for is a slight incline on this, and then a drop on this, and an incline at the back, which is what I've roughly forged anyway. What we've got now is a top shape. We've got the curve on the bottom of the belly of the blade, and now what I'm going to do is just knock a bit of this off. That's why we put the incline on, so you're not digging in to the knife when you grind it. So that's basically the rough shape. You can see, imagine that with a handle on it. And then now what I'll do is I'll just tidy this up. I'll grind the bevels on, which I'm not going to show you because that takes years of practice. And then I'll heat treat it. So grinding's complete, as you can see. Got a little dib in there, nice curved spine. There's a stick tang, nice detail, focus. Focusing. I'll do some photos. I'm just going to heat treat it next, and clean it up, fit the handle, sharpen it. Job done. So with all that waiting around, the forge has sadly gone out. So just to make you able to see it better there. You can see it. Full flat grind, stick tang. And this is the wood I'm going to use on it. I'm going to slice up some of this yew with some oak in slices, drill them, stick them on, finish it, you'll see. Should be nice. So the first job now is to heat treat this, heat it to critical temperature. But bear in mind that was made from that much stock at the start of the video. And I'm going to put a stick tang handle on it using fibre liner spacers, and I think I'm just going to use yew. So we're going to get this in now. I'll bring it to critical temperature. Nice and steady. As you can see, I put the oil on the side of the forge to keep it warm and ready for quenching. I wouldn't advise you do it, because if anything gets in that oil and sets it on fire, it's going to take a serious amount of putting out, let me tell you. And it has happened to me before. If you're wondering why there's a welding magnet down here on the side of the forge, that's for the simple reason when it's at non-critical, that'll stick to it. And obviously this as well, when it's at non-critical, will stick to it. When it's at critical temperature, it won't stick to it. So that's how you know whether it's at critical temperature or not, ready for quenching to harden it in preparation for tempering. I'll double temper this and double harden it and triple temper it. I've been doing it long enough now to know when they're ready to go in, so I don't have to use the magnet, but it's there just as a backup in case I do need to use it, in case the sun's too bright or I can't see the colour of it or whatever. What I always tend to do, it's halfway through heating, I get it out and I'll check it for straightness, put it in the forge and just brush off the little bits of slag that come onto the blade, because the last thing we want is any inclusion which will cause oxidisation when we come to harden it. It's getting very close now, so I'm just keeping a close eye on it. I'm not looking to heat the tang up too much because I want that to be relatively soft. That is getting to a point now where it's getting to a critical temp. Just going to drop it in the coals a little bit. Burn my hand, by the way. Turn that around, make sure the blade's hot. The cutting edge, should I say. Still straight. Slightest movement at this temperature can warp it. We go to the oil, swirl it around. What you don't want is the oil to be hot around the blade so it doesn't cool it. You want a fast quench. This is Park's quench oil, by the way, so you can do it in anything really: veg oil, sunflower oil, old motor oil, which is not good for your respiratory system, by the way. The smoke that comes off it. Check it for straightness. It's not warped, it's perfectly straight. Let's just get a file and see if this is hardened. That's hard. I'm not even going to double harden that because that is already hard. If I was to drop that now on the anvil, that'd smash like glass. On to the next stage, which is tempering. So that's it for this video. There'll be a part 2 to this when you see me put the handle on it and clean it all up. And I'll be putting this on my Facebook page and somebody will be able to win this knife. So best of luck with that, and I shall see you soon. I'll be raffling this knife. Take care.